Dylan suffered a contusion to his back and to his spine, led to spasming. He would probably be questionable for this week if we were playing, but should be available for next week. So we'll take it day by day and see how he's doing. Ramir Johnson hurt his ankle, was not able to finish the game. We'll have to wait and see, how Ramir's doing. Other than that, I'll take your questions.
What's the biggest challenge for you this week?
I think this week, Mitch, is a week of introspection. After the last 3 ball games, I think it's for me as the head coach, looking at everything that we're doing. I think it's for each assistant coach looking at everything that we're doing. What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? I think it's for each player. Bad organizations point fingers. Good organizations look at themselves, and this is a tough time. So we have to be a good organization and look at ourselves and challenge ourselves. And it's also a week of recruiting. That was disappointing on Saturday. Yet I'm in the office at 9 o'clock on Sunday, meeting with recruits that were there and came in the next day because they do see a great game day atmosphere, a great place. They see us playing freshmen, and so you will hit the road as well. So I think it's a lot of, like I said, a lot of introspection. At the same time, we have to get ready for USC, and so we're gonna game plan them today. We're treating this this isn't a bye week. This is a game week for us. We're staying here late tonight working on USC. We worked on USC yesterday, so probably those 3 things kind of in a combination.
Given the struggles on offense, it's 18.1 points a game in the conference. Would you consider changes to help jumpstart it?
I think my job is always to consider everything. I think part of that is what are the problems, what are the issues. It's looking at everything. So I think one of the first things I'm doing this week is I have a lot of friends in the business. Had some outside people kind of come in and look at, hey, tell me what you see, and I think that's probably at least in my history, one of the best things you can do is just have a fresh set of eyes look at it. And so I'm going to have some people that I trust look at both us on offense and on defense, and kind of look at what we're doing, and then go from there.
They come in here physically.
Yeah, I'll bring people in here this week.
From your perspective, what do you feel like is not working with the offense?
It's a great question. We're not able to run the ball to control the game. I'm a big believer that you have to be able to control the game, and we were able to make some big plays in the game, but we weren't able to handle the third down pressures to stay on the field. And as I've said to you guys before, it's very hard because I don't want to throw the kids under the bus, or I don't want to throw because it could be one person here, one person there. I just think at the end of the day, we get a couple of big plays, then all of a sudden we're off and running, but we're not able to run the ball consistently enough, and we're not able to stay on third down. So I'd say it's a little bit of everything, to be quite honest. I mean, I think if you watch us, we're just not playing well enough on offense to have a chance to win. And then, the last 2 games we're facing, Ohio State and UCLA, and we have the ball at the end with a chance to go win it. We've got to go win it, and we have not been able to do that. So it's not a great answer. It's not like hey, we just got to fix this one thing. We have to just play better, and that's coach better. And I think that's my job this week, is to look at it and say, hey, what can we do? And hope that the players, instead of saying, well, he's got to do this, he's got to do, hope that the players say, hey, I've got to go do this better. You have a couple of really bright spots. You have Ja'Cory out there consistently making plays. I think Ja'Cory's he's like a lightning rod out there, and Isaiah showed up in the last game and made some plays. We just need a lot more of that, and we have 3 opportunities left to do it. We've got to play better.
Does the lack of run game, does that take you by surprise? You seem confident in it in August going into the season.
Yeah, I thought we would be playing better on offense than we are. I thought we'd run the ball better. I thought we'd have really good play action game. I thought we'd be better on third. I mean, I thought we would be, I thought we would be playing better than we are. And again, like, even within the games, like there's times, we're down 20-7, like we're down 10-0, the drive to answer. Like, I think there's moments where I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like. It's just not consistent enough. And against Ohio State, we move the ball. We go on and score against Ohio State 4 times. We just get held to field goals, and so there was a lot of work this week on the red zone, and we were able to get in twice. But I thought we would be further along than we are.
What have been the tone? What are the tone of your conversations with Dylan? When you said, I know you've mentioned before that you like to watch film with him after the game. When you do now, in comparison to early in the season, what kind of different things are you seeing that may be related to holding back the offense?
Well, I didn't watch anything with him this week just because he's in getting treatment all day and getting MRIs and all those things. But I mean, we're playing better people, and one of the reasons why, when I recruited Dylan, and when I recruited Danny, I sort of talked about like, hey, come here and this is an opportunity if you can win the job. One of the benefits is playing early. And you go through, and when you play early, everything's not going to be a sunny day. You know what I mean? And you learn how to handle all the different things that you see, and you have tough moments and you overcome them. So I think this is unbelievable, invaluable experience for Dylan. When it's good, and there's been some tough moments, right? And it's like, you throw the pick 6, but he doesn't quit. He goes back out and brings us back into the game. Heinrich comes out, he takes us down the field. So, this is the Big Ten. This is a whole new world, a whole different league, and every week you have to be at your best. We haven't been consistent enough. But I think for a young freshman quarterback, this is on the job. This is on the job training. This is on the job learning. I mean, they're bringing. They took both. We've had. This is not an excuse. This is not an excuse. But we have seen different. We've had 3 straight teams coming off a bye, going into our 4th one. We've seen so many different things about. The third down packages we've seen people cook up for us. It's nothing, and so you're on the side, and Dylan's having to compute it and learn it, as are the O-linemen. And then in the second half, I thought we were better. I think at one point we were like 1 for 7, and then I think we finished much better than that. So if you can just weather the storm as a young player, you say to yourself, what am I supposed to be learning? And then you learn all these things, and that's, like we played Tom Brady when I was in Carolina. We kept bringing this like 0 look against him, and we got him a couple times, and then the third time, he threw us a glance against us. He signaled it, and he saw it and burned us. And it's like, he has such a Rolodex in his brain. I think Dylan's building a Rolodex that, while it's frustrating right now, if he weathers the storm, he'll have so much experience. And as things get better, he'll be a unique player.
How do you feel like Marcus Satterfield's calling the games?
I think that's part of my job this week is to look at it. I think I don't have tremendous issues at times like, oh, why'd we call this, why'd we call that? Because all those things are kind of game planned during the week. Are we game planning the right things during the week? That might be one of the questions, we have to talk about and look at it. But if you score 18 points, you're going to, what you say, 18.1 a game, you're going to be under fire, right? It just is what it is. So me as the head coach, Sat as the OC everywhere, I think it's really, really important, though, that our players take accountability in it as well, right? Like, we don't call any plays that they can't execute. And when they, it's kind of like a slippery slope. It's like when they jump up and make the catch, it's like, hey, great job, Isaiah. But when they jump up to make the catch and they don't make the catch, it's like, come on, Sat. And so I just want all of us in the program to all take accountability together. And that's the introspection I talked about this week. So, we're looking at everything, and the same thing on defense. We can't go out there on defense and let them just go right down the field against us. When they took the ball, it was a smart move by them. Had we won the toss, I probably would have taken the ball because they've been really hot early, but we didn't play defensively the way we've been playing. And but yeah, 18.1 points a game, you're going to take. There's nothing you can say. It's just not good enough.
So Satterfield calls that play at the start of the quarter. Actually, people would say it was a pretty good call. Dylan missed the read. He admitted that. But on the subsequent drive, I think you guys ran it like 4 times in a row. Was that Sat committing to the run, or did you interject there and say, no, we're going to run the football?
I didn't. I don't know that. I don't think that I interjected anything. I don't know that I remember the exact exchanges. I mean, we had a game plan going in of, hey, we're gonna had certain runs that we liked, and early in the game, they went 8 minutes. We went 3 plays. They went, whatever, and so we didn't really have a ton of opportunities in the first half, but we knew based upon the way that they've played that you're going to have more opportunities in the second half. But in terms of that exact frame, I mean, when you get down, like when we were down against Indiana, and we were down this game, typically when you're down 20-7 or 20, I usually will say, hey, don't panic here, like guys, like don't panic, just go back to the game plan. Don't worry about what the score is. Like, just go down and score a drive. Like, there's some questions. I got to ask after the game. I got to ask some questions about like when you're down 2 scores. The thing that I've learned, and you study all the analytics, is like just go down and score. Don't rush. Go down and score the first one. If you trust your defense, you'll get the ball back with a chance to win the game. And so, but that was, if I say anything, it's probably that. And I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yeah, but there was no like, hey, a directive from me or anything like that. I don't believe.
What's the identity you'd really like to see from your team the last 3 weeks coming out of that bye?
Yeah, I had a really good friend of mine, a person I've met since I've been here, text me and say, "Man, it must be frustrating. The team is so inconsistent." And to be quite honest with you, that's hard for me to hear. Like that's not what I want. I want us to be consistent. I want us to be. I'm a same guy every day. I do the best that I can. Same guy every day. And so I think I really have to look at my approach. You know what I mean? I think I have to really look at, the way that I'm doing things with our team. After the Ohio State game, Troy reminded me of this morning. I said to you guys, if we played hard against Ohio State, but if we don't back it up next week, then it's all for naught. And I didn't like the way we played on Saturday. And so I'd like to see us have 3 games where we go out and we absolutely fight, scratch, claw, and compete. And that's the honestly, that's the danger with my job's hard. In that's the danger with all the SAT stuff. Yeah, it's not good enough. We get that. But then it takes all the pressure off of the guys that are on the field. Like, hey, go make a play. Like, go catch a ball and make a play. Like, you can't catch the ball and fall down. You got to catch the ball and go make a play. And that's the slippery slope of this world. And so I think I have to really look at my approach this week. Am I being demanding enough? Am I being tough enough? Am I being hard enough? In a day and age where everyone says to be, the kids are anxious, be easier on them. But then, I was disappointed on Saturday with the way it looked. So, I love the kids. I love the guys. I want them to be great, and I see greatness in so many of them that's just kind of – so the last 3 games, I'd like to see that greatness emerge and see them play their best football and see them just all out compete and fight. And so this will be a real week for us, right? There's a lot that has to happen this week.
What is your practice approach for the bye week as far as what you'll do with your team? And is it a week of work with the recruiting and everything you guys got to manage this week?
Yeah, so we'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all USC practices. This won't be like a developmental. We'll get ready for the game. I'll leave Wednesday night to go recruiting. I'll just trust the coaches that are in to coach on Thursday. Then we'll give the guys Friday, Saturday off. We'll recruit Friday. I'll recruit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we'll practice Sunday night. Against Indiana, I kept the normal Monday schedule. I think we'll go Sunday, and then give them Monday off, so that way we just kind of get them back. So this is a pivotal time, right? We got a bunch of great seniors. We got 3 games that I'd like to see them go out and compete in. So we'll focus our attention the next couple of days on just USC, and at the same time, it's like kind of going back to what the other questions, like, hey, what can we do well, but also USC as well. So.
Man, you guys have a lot of time this week, not so you're not getting ready for a game, but how important is to keep the guys mentally positive, and how much of that burden lies on your players rather than the coaches being cheerleaders?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It lies on the players. Okay, like I believe this. I've always believed this. Players win games. I try to do a good job of protecting the players. But at some point, like you got to go out there and play. You got to go out there and make the plays. You got to go out there and do what you're capable of. I'm not, I've been here a year and a half now, 2 years almost. I'm not doing I'm afraid to make a mistake. I'm afraid, I'm not doing that anymore. Like I just want the guys that want to go out and compete. We got enough of them. I want them to go out and fly around and compete. You're going to make mistakes out there. Yeah, this is what life is, right? Like you hit adversity. If you quit, then so be it. I want the grown men out there. I'm happy to talk to everyone's parents. I'm happy to have personal one-on-one meetings. But at the end of the day, when the ball's snapped, you better play. And that's what these weeks are for. To go out there and establish who you are. So great opportunity for some of the young guys. To go out there, and I keep bringing up like Jacory and Vincent and Shavers and those guys. Like when the ball snapped, they play. Point blank, they play. It might not always be right, but they play and they play and they play. And so, catch our breath this week. We'll practice for USC and we'll go out there and we'll compete.
Besides Dylan, do you think you'll get Hartzog back, or what's your health otherwise?
Yeah, Tommy. Tommy went into the game. Tommy played. I think another week. I think Tommy will be even better. I think Malcolm was available, kind of like if we needed him. He was available. He made tremendous progress in a short amount of time. He'd be able to play this Saturday. So obviously next Saturday, unless there's a setback, we think he'll be good. That's a big piece for us. And then guys like Marquise Buford that are out there. That I said 2 ACLs, and this is a good week for him. To maybe have a little downtime and come back and be really healthy for the last 3 games. So I think in terms of health-wise, the bye comes at the right time. We should have a lot of guys out there next week.
Going back to that first quarter, UCLA's offense, had a big first quarter. And how much of that is just them catching you with stuff that maybe they had 2 weeks to scheme for?
Yeah, their offense is kind of their offense. There wasn't much that was super, super, super new in terms of offensively. Most of the stuff we're seeing that's new has been defensively. I think, they're a huddle team that trade shifts motion, so they hit it in new ways. But, they've kind of been very consistent. I told Deshaun before the game, because I was a GA when he was a player, I told him, I said, hey, you're doing a great job. Like I said it last week, I thought that was a really good team that had played Oregon, had played LSU, and had played some really good teams and hung in there against them. And LSU, like it was 17-17 with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Like when it was 27-20, it's kind of where I expected us to be. Like we practiced 2 minute more on Wednesday than we normally do because I was like, hey, this is going to come down to the end. But they've done that consistently. Like they did against Minnesota, they did against Rutgers. They went right down the field on their opening script. And if you can kind of weather that storm, then you have a chance. And so you think about it, like, they went down, they scored the first 3 drives that they had it. And then we settled down, and then they scored one more time the entire game. So, they got the quarterback playing really, the quarterback Garbers was playing really well, and we never really hit him. We brought pressure, and he ran in the A-gap, and he makes a guy miss in the middle of the field. You take away any one of those plays, and all of a sudden we're playing much better. So I don't think they surprised us as much as they've just been very consistent throughout the year. And, Jeremiah went out there early at corner. He competed, and then Tommy went in for him. And the older guys, I think, settled down.
I wanted to ask about this, just the spectrum of talent maybe in the Big Ten. So you played Ohio State, you played Indiana, then you played Ohio State, and you played UCLA. But Ohio State and UCLA, one team's got a $20 million roster, and they are 7-1. The other one's 3-5. But how much gap is there really between the caliber of players that you face at Ohio State and the caliber of athletes that UCLA had? And how tight is the margin for basically every team in the league?
It's a great question. I don't think there's much difference. I think when Ohio State's at probably a whole other level. Don't get me wrong, but I think UCLA is a really talented team. Okay, you look at the kid. If they didn't recruit them, they're transfers from Notre Dame and USC. They're not good players. I coached at UCLA. UCLA's never had a shortage of talent. There's a ton of great players at UCLA. I think you look at Indiana. Indiana's got really talented players too. The quarterback Rourke. He was 10 wins and 10 wins, I think, at Ohio. I mean, he's a winner. And so what they've done is they've just brought over a whole bunch of guys who know how to win. They won at James Madison, they won at Ohio, and they know how to win. And so I don't see huge drop-offs when we face different teams. It's kind of like there's a certain level. Some teams have better O-lines and D-lines, and that's really what I think makes the difference. And some teams have better quarterbacks. And so that, at the end of the day, when you face a veteran quarterback who's played a lot of football and they're in tune, they're hard to stop. When Garbers was in tune, then we started getting some pressure on him, and then all of a sudden it changed a little bit. If we do a little bit better job of protecting Dylan early on, he's probably in a little bit more rhythm. So it goes back to hey, these are reps you put in your brain, you develop, you grow from, and you become better. So, but I don't see a major difference.
People who've covered the team for quite some time have seen Nebraska play incredibly well against high teams. Michigan 21, Ohio State last week. And then it feels like there can be these moments where the play is at the level of the opponent. How do you eliminate that? Or do you think that that's accurate of the way you guys play?
That's kind of what I said earlier. It's a disappointing thing about the job that I'm doing. I've prided myself over the years of like, we're consistent. And I thought last year, like, we were consistent. Like, we were, and now this year it's not quite as consistent. And, you're probably not supposed, head coach 101, you're not supposed to say those things in a press conference. But I owe it to everyone to be honest. Like, I'm trying to find a way to get the players to be more consistent. And so this is probably the first time you guys have heard me say the players have to play. Like they have to play. They can't just say like, oh man, did you read what they're saying about Sat? Like, but you are Sat. You are the offense. You're out on the field. Like Jacory's not worried about what play call Sat's calling. Jacory's out there flying around, right? Like, so you can't throw a bubble out in the perimeter and a guy's not blocking. It's one man against another man. I got to block you and but all that being said, it's just it's not consistent enough. And it's when you take a job, I don't think I've ever taken what I would call like an easy job. Like, come to a place that's just won 10 games. These are the hard moments. You have this is what you have to do, and so I have to sit here and admit my shortcomings. I haven't gotten it done yet at the level that we need to have it done. But we have had some good moments too, and so I'm just trying to get it to be more consistent. And that starts with looking at the coaches, looking at the players, being honest. If I'm honest and they're not, then so be it. I still don't know if I'm answering you, but that is kind of what's happening, to be quite honest with you. That is, and if you have that roster, some of the rosters, if you have that Ohio State roster, like if you think about our game, you think about our game against Ohio State. We moved the ball in Ohio State, but we had to kick field goals in the red zone. Kept it close, and then they went and ended up winning the game in the fourth quarter. UCLA moved the ball against us. We held them to field goals. Then we had a chance to go win the game at the end. You're gonna have some games that are up and down, but I have to find a way to get this team to be more consistent. We have 3 games left, and that's why I hope that they block out everything, not the noise in general, the pointing fingers at each other. And I hope they block all that out and they just say, what can I do? Because that's what Marquise Buford deserves. Marquise Buford deserves a chance to go play in a bowl game, and that's what this program needs. This program needs to go to a bowl game, and it's going to take unbelievable focus because these are 3 good teams that we have left, and I'm going to work my tail off to try to get it done, and I hope the players join me, and I hope the staff joins me. But there's nothing I won't do to get there. There's nothing that I won't do to help us get over the top. Because we will, in the end, what I will say is we will get over the top. I mean, I think, this is not like I'm sitting here like defeated. I'm just sitting here frustrated. You're frustrated, I'm frustrated, but we will get there. And it's just sometimes you don't like the way it feels along the way.
The outside eyes that you're bringing in this week, what does that process look like, and how often do you do that?
I probably won't say too much yet because I want to be respectful. I think I ask people's opinions all the time that I trust. I say, hey, I talk to people. I call, like I told you, after Indiana. I called Coach Osborne. Last year he came in. I am someone that's. Every team to me, every season's like its own organism, right? And you're trying to manage and deal with things. So, I'll always ask people. So I think it's pretty consistent for me. Actually bringing people here, maybe that's not something I normally would do, We have some people who we hire as consultants that do like advanced stuff for us each week. So, we'll talk to them Zoom wise, but I think coming in the building this week is good. I think, at the end of the day, everybody needs to feel this right now. Everyone needs to feel like, everyone needs to feel what I feel. Everyone needs to feel a little bit of like, hey, we need to get this thing going, right? There's a certain expectation, that you have to have when you're a Nebraska Cornhusker. That's to play championship football, and it's just not a sometime thing. And so, I think bringing people in, I told them if there's a young player that can help us, the red shirts are all off. We'll put them out there, like whatever it takes.
Do you allow yourself to pay mind to the fact that in the reality of college football today, and you get deep into November, that what the importance level is for you to show progress as it relates to what comes in December, when there is the portal, when you're trying to keep commitments, when you're trying to keep other teams from coming in and recruiting your own roster?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, like, if you want players to come play for you, they need to see progress, right? They need to see that, okay, we are better this year than last year. But I'm not going to chase players on our roster. Like, if you're here, you get taken care of so well. I mean, you get taken care of so well. And, you have guys that are here from other schools. Ask them. I mean, they'll tell the guys. So it's natural when you're on a 3-game losing streak for guys to be like, man, I'm frustrated to start. Maybe I'll go there. Maybe I'll go. That's natural. I mean, I think every freshman goes through that, every year. And I only need about 22 guys to play the next week. So, we got a lot of guys that love it here. But we have to show progress. But that's the goal. Like, the goal is to make progress, not to show progress, right? The goal is to be better than we were. And so, we've seen some moments, the Colorado game. We've seen some moments, the Ohio State game where we see what we could be. It's just not consistent yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start worrying about. I mean, we have a great thing going here, and we have recruits all across the country that want to come here, and there'll be kids lining up. If we said, hey, we'll take you, there'll be kids lining up to come here. So I don't worry about any of that. I care deeply about my players. I care deeply about their character and their growth, and if they're good enough. Some guys, maybe if they want to play, they should go down a level. But if a little bit of adversity causes you to turn and run, then you don't see me running. I'm not running. So we have to show progress. And the reality is, we were building this team from the very beginning. I kept telling them, hey guys, we're building this for November and December. We're trying to work hard in the offseason to get you guys to this moment. Here we are. We're obviously all frustrated about the last 3 games, but we have a bye week and we have to go play. So we'll see how we stand against USC. We'll see how we stand against Wisconsin. We'll see how we stand against Iowa. But we'll have a lot of good players next year here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.